Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. It is your host, Liz, joined as always by my co-host, Marcus.
I am the special enforcer of this podcast.
It is a wonderful Tuesday. Why? Because I was right. I was goddamn right.
Weren't you saying that William Regal was stepping down?
Oh, I was saying that Joe was stepping in as an enforcer because I, if nothing else, am filled with blind faith.
I feel like based on past past incidences, I am the one on blind faith. Based on
Yeah, actually,
yeah,
doing your Nexus.
Nexus, Ted DiBiase, all the way back to Viking Raiders and Street Profits.
I have finally washed my hair, so it is no longer curly. I feel like I'm missing a part of myself now. Feel sad about it.
Do I feel sad about it?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What are you doing tonight?
I'm a little tired, but besides that, happy. It's a good show. It's
I
fun.
thought you would like jump into maybe a little breakdown of the show like you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Samoa Joe's back.
God.
We got a lot of teasers. This was very much the new chapter in NXT. Start of the new chapter. We got a weird, cryptic, charging teaser. That filled up. Did it fill up to 30 yet, or was it at 20 last?
I think it stopped at 20. Like went from like 1% up to like 10 and then 11 and then it went up to 20. So probably safe to say that we've got
4 more weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll probably be the week after Great American Bash. It'll be filled, if not at the end of Great American Bash. But so much speculation for what this could be. Some people are saying Roderick Strong. That's very much out of left field. I'm under the impression it's Tegan Knox, because I feel like the 100% charged and then like the Captain Marvel power up will happen. She is really the only one who gives kind of a power, like a charged power vibe.
There is also a chance to say that it's Kona Reeves.
Kona never had anything like that, though. He never had that
That's
kind
the
of.
whole thing, is that Kona's whole gimmick is getting turned on its head.
Well, some people are saying he's returning as the finest. That was his whole gimmick.
That doesn't make sense because they just said that they're changing his entire gimmick.
No, I've heard otherwise, but we'll see.
What I heard last night was that everything that you knew about Kona Reeves is getting wiped away.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. But also in the episode we got announcement that Diamond Mine will be opening next week. It's about time. Well, they're probably gonna have like Roderick Strong as the leader of that. I feel like that's where he went. Next week we're also getting pick your poison matches with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. They each get to pick matches of their choice. And then we got announced that Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole 2 will be happening at Great American Bash. As far as this episode goes, the biggest match on paper was just GYV and Tommaso and Timmy in the Tornado Tag match. Besides that, the biggest thing obviously was Samoa Joe. Not much else. We got the debut of Trey Baxter, formerly known as Blake Christian from Impact. Um, Frankie Monet announced that she'll have an encore performance of her world premiere next week. Um, LA Knight betrayed Ted DiBiase.
LA Knight clunked Ted DiBiase.
He did. I feel like that happened because of the cold reception from the crowd. You could tell there was a sense of realization that he had.
I don't think he would have just suddenly decided that he was going to punch Ted. I'm sure.
Well, it might have had to happen like maybe a week or two from now, and then he saw the crowd, him and Ted DiBiase just might have just like agreed, just do this now.
I don't know. I think it was decided. If anything, if it weren't supposed to happen, I think it was probably decided after the match because LA Knight got a pretty shit reception from the crowd that night too.
Yeah. The weirdest thing though was when, or not the weirdest, but the biggest evidence of that is that when LA Knight was out and he had the belt, they were chanting Cameron Grimes. So.
What match did you say was awkward? I saw your tweet.
It was Kushida and Trey Baxter.
Okay.
There were a couple moments where things were awkward. They were awkward.
I probably did not notice that as much, but
It was
what
when
I mean
they
is
were.
my notes won't reflect that probably.
It was that moment where Kushida was on the apron and they're like on opposite ends, or they were like on the other side of the ropes.
Yeah.
Felt weird. But in regards to the rest of the episode, Dakota and Raquel got a big win. Io is back. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I already mentioned Tommaso and Timmy, so.
Alright.
You wanna get into the news? I guess we do that.
Forgotten the order of events here?
I mean, sometimes we could just leave out the news.
No, I like the news. It's my favorite section. It's the only section that's all is all the time. Welcome to the news.
So I've got some news pieces. I'm gonna make this about me right now. I'm kidding.
A Kool-Aid man through your wall. Get the biggest piece of news out of the way because it's obvious Renee Paquette had her child. Jon Moxley is now a father. Great name.
Wow.
Terrifying. For them.
And because of that, Jon Moxley had to host an episode of Renee's podcast. And from what I've heard, it's hilarious.
She has a whole slew of guest hosts that will be doing her podcast until she is ready to come back. But I have not watched her podcast yet. I would probably watch it to see what the fuck Jon Moxley does.
Yeah.
Because that seems interesting as hell. Let's talk about some non-WWE news. On a less positive note, I guess. Don West of TNA broadcasting fame has brain lymphoma. It's very upsetting. Apparently, he revealed it himself because the Don West show is on hiatus. I guess they're saying going in with chemotherapy. So I apparently there's a chance right now that things might be okay. So best wishes. Hopefully all works out. On a slightly different note, but still sort of a TNA note. Um, Steve Macklin is debuting this week. We've talked about this before, but just as kind of like a hey, in case you forgot. Um, he is debuting at Impact, aka Brandon Cutler. Not who he was originally.
Nope.
Um,
Not Brandon Cutler.
Wesley Blake?
Nope. Steve Cutler. Brandon Cutler is on AEW. Two very different people.
My deepest apologies to Brandon Cutler. Um, anyways, another piece of news is that an independent free agent was recently seen at the WWE, and that person is Selena De La Renta. She was seen at the Performance Center. There is nothing saying exactly what kind of training it was. It could have been promos, it could have been tryouts, it could have been workouts, it could have been in-ring training, it could have been literally anything. She was there. Um, and the WWE is expected to offer her a contract, so I think it would be a pretty big get for them.
Mm-hmm.
She most recently was performing in Major League Wrestling. And the last piece of news is just something I kind of want to talk to you about. There's a reason why Jeff Hardy put his career on the line.
Because he wanted to give up, he wanted to lose.
While he didn't necessarily state that, apparently it is because Vince McMahon no longer wants cold matches on his shows. He wants every match to have stakes.
Yes, Vince, that's how matches should work. Like, good. Good that he's finally realizing that after however long WWE has been in his control. Yeah.
I feel like this is gonna translate into like people being like every other fucking match is gonna be like, oh well, if you can't beat me, then you have to leave Raw forever, or something like that. Like the stakes are gonna be stupid.
They should
Very obviously set.
the takeaway that Vince should take is just to speed up storylines. So they don't last 5 pay-per-views like Biggie and Apollo has.
Or, like Randy and Drew.
Randy and Drew,
Like Bobby and Drew.
Apollo and Andrade, Street Profits and Angel and Andrade, Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins.
I think we're just having fun.
I have a little. It's not really news, but it's more of a little discussion topic.
A good discussion topic.
It's kind of news. So Alan Five Angels apparently has left Dark Order. There was a thread of tweets about how there was a segment removed from BTE with the Dark Order. And in that thread was some shit talking about Alan Five Angels, which, that's something they do in Dark Order. And then Alan Angels saw that tweet, or he saw that thread and said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving Dark Order. I think he was seen without his mask on Sammy's vlog or on Elevation, something like that. And it seems that he has actually left Dark Order.
Weren't they kind of trying to like turn Dark Order face?
Yeah. Now, a hilarious storyline I could see is now that Alan Angels has left, I like to imagine Dark Order just completely crumbles because of it, and all because Alan Angels is gone.
I feel like it's like weird to be like push like a storyline where they've basically bullied a member out if they're supposed to be faces.
Yeah, I mean, I never really saw them as full faces. Just like sympathy faces. But They did become basically the comic relief of AEW.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. I look forward to finding more out, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, well. Also, didn't you have news that that WWE trademarked something?
Yes, they trademarked Janie Jane. Now, there's another trademark that exists for someone, I think Laney Lane or something, or like something like that. It's a very similar name. I don't know who it goes to. But it could this could be the name for Piper Niven. It very much
Oh,
feels like it would be.
okay, that's better than Dewdrop.
Janie Dewdrop Jane. That flows.
I also just love how they were like, let's do not Dewdrop, but DOU drop.
Yeah. Do you drop? Oh, that makes sense. Do you drop? Like, huh? Like, do you bleed?
Oh,
Do you drop?
fair enough.
Like
Take it.
I could see her saying that like as she's about to drop someone from like the top rope or something. Does
Oh, because
gravity
that would
affect
mean that
you?
she has a personality, and they've clearly decided that Piper Niven is not allowed to have one of those.
Personality is gonna be static fangirl.
Listen, I already aired my grievances last night and this morning. I feel like my personal health, I have to stop.
Hmm.
However, that's all the news I had for you today.
Cool. So matches and promos.
I think we could talk about matches and promos.
Oh man, big episode today and a big promo to start off the show.
15 fucking minutes of pain.
That it was. That it was. So we started off. William Regal comes out, and he seems all choked up. He says, "I've been with NXT since day one. In some form or another, I started down there. Started down there. I've watched NXT become a beautiful thing. The incredible competitors that came through here, then going to England, then Japan, then Australia. My nieces got to sit with me and watch the show. Every spare moment has been spent making NXT the place we want to be and making everything as correct as possible. I finally decided that with the chaos I've given you, I've given you everything I can give you. Because of all you and the staff, I don't think I'm capable of giving you what you deserve anymore. I think it's time for me to..." Karrion Kross comes out with Scarlett. Karrion's just laughing. Karrion says, "Her and I always knew this day would come. The moment we heard that the moment we heard that, we had to come out and see it for ourselves. Are you crying, Mr. Regal? You are completely pathetic. 1 week ago, I told you you lost control. You knew that what I was saying was true. At NXT TakeOver, when I punched a hole through that Rushmore of NXT, you know that you lost control. I want you to tell these people you're leaving, and then walk your ass up that aisle and never come back. Say that I was right." And then, boom, 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 boom. Samoa Joe comes out with the best goddamn walkout in the world. He says, "Mr. Regal, I believed you wanted to see me. I did, but not in these circumstances. Because of my love for NXT, I think everyone deserves a general manager that can hold the position with the integrity it deserves. I want you, Samoa Joe, to be the new GM of NXT. I am no longer able to keep this up. Samoa Joe says, flattered as I am, my answer is absolutely not. I know you're wearing, but in the 7 years you've been here, you brought the best talent here from across the globe. You transformed this company into an international phenomenon. You cast a long shadow with huge shoes to fill. But you know what? I'll make you an offer. I made your life hell while here, but I afforded you respect. I would be more than happy to ensure you receive the respect you deserve from everybody. And then Regal says, there's some conditions, however. You cannot be a competitor. And then the crowd like booed and gasped or whatever. And you cannot lay a hand on anyone unless provoked. And that got everyone excited.
Because Joe said in his little fucking head, he was like, my definition of provoked is probably very different from yours.
Mr. Regal, I accept your offer. Which leaves one question. He turns to Karrion. What are you still doing in this ring? Tick-tock, yon champion. And then Karrion and Scarlett leave. And Samoa Joe is left standing tall. Then we have a GYV promo. A grizzled young veterans, soon to be recognized as NXT Tag Team Champions promo. We heard the insults and the disrespect. We're in working class areas in England. We're used to it. Tonight, Tornado Tag Team rules. No tags, no excuses. You're gonna get your heads kicked in, Tommaso and Thatcher. And then we get, speaking of Europeans, we get Imperium versus Breezango. Start off with as the first match of the episode.
Also, shame on you for forgetting the chance of Joe's gonna kill you carrying Cross.
Oh yeah,
that was perhaps the best part.
Joe's gonna kill you. What was the one after that?
They were singing the that song.
Oh, goodbye. Something like that. No, I don't know why that popped into my head.
I don't know why.
God, I can't remember, but I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah. So Imperium, let's discuss real quick. Marcel Bartel looking hot as hell. That rhymes. It's perfect. We start with Bartel versus Breeze. They're grappling for a bit. There's a couple of hard chops to Breeze from Bartel. Bartel flips Breeze over his shoulders, but Breeze lands on his feet. Fandango gets in. Eichner gets in. There's an arm drag to Fandango right into a wrist lock. Fandango is then in the corner. Eichner's basically just beating him up. He then whips Eichner into the corner in a reversal. Eichner goes up and over Fandango for a sunset flip, but Fandango doesn't move and instead does a leg drop onto Fabian. Eichner is then thrown from the ring. Breeze goes to dive out onto him, and no one's home. Which was just the weirdest shit.
I think it was meant to be a distraction. Because then
okay.
Fandango jumps down and hits it.
Yeah, so no one's home. Fandango, however, as Mark just said, is much more successful in his flight path. Fandango then goes up top, and Bartel throws Breeze into the ring to distract Fandango, knocks him off the top buckle. And then Eichner takes him all the way down. We get a shot thrown at Bartel from Fandango, and that's not his name. Tyler Breeze drop kicks Bartel ringside. Very funny because the cameras aren't on them. It's just something that happens in the background. Exchange. Eichner and Fandango exchange blows. There's a knee strike to Eichner. Um, the second one flips Eichner over Fandango's knee. We go to commercial break, and when we come back, Eichner is in, Fandango's still in. We get a punch to Eichner in the midsection, and Eichner fights back with several hits. We get a spinebuster to Fandango after Fandango attempts to kick Fabian back. Marcel gets in, he just starts grinding Fandango down into a pile of absolute rubble. Fandango hits like a sort of weird spear roll through type deal. But when that doesn't work, Fandango kicks Bartel off of him as he tries to go and make the tag. Bartel's trying to stop him. He whips Fandango Bartel whips Fandango into the corner, but Fandango takes Eichner off the apron, throws Marcel out of the ring. There's a back body drop to Bartel. We get Breeze versus Eichner, and looked like he was setting up for something special, but Fabian just knocked him down 4 fucking pegs with this massive lariat. Just collapses Breeze. But right after that, we get an inside cradle to Eichner from Breeze for Breezango to win. Eichner's not fucking pleased. Neither is Bartel. They wreak havoc for a couple of seconds. They throw Breeze... Marcel Bartel throws Breeze right into a kick from Eichner. And then they kind of go like Nyla Rose a bit, and they lay a flag over Breeze that says Imperium.
Yep. Nice to see that there's like a little bit of personality in like a match that's like as small as this. Something that has no recourse over the rest of the NXT. The main roster needs to learn from this.
It's almost like we got a match with stakes that didn't threaten somebody's entire fucking career, and I cared about it still.
It didn't have a title on the line. It did happen because of a title, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, is there were stakes about proving yourself, but, like, it wasn't shoved down your throat in the beginning.
Then we go backstage. We get Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. They're being held back by security as they're trying to brawl, and Regal tells them they'll have a one-on-one match at Great American Bash. He tells both of them that they get to pick their opponents next week. They both break free and start to brawl until Samoa Joe runs in and fucking lays out a coquina clutch on Adam Cole. He then tells the security guard to inform Cole that once he wakes up, Regal wants his decision. And then we're about to get... Oh, wait, no. Right after that, we get the teaser, the first teaser of, like, the charging logo. Very weird stuff. Still kind of no idea what it could be, besides maybe Tegan. But after that, we get Santos Escobar. He said what happened at TakeOver was a tragedy. He looked into the North American title and saw its beauty until Bronson Reed put him through a wall. Santos says it won't happen again, and he wants to face Bronson one-on-one and become the new North American champion. And then right after that, we get Kushida's Open Challenge, where the person accepting the challenge is Trey Baxter, formerly known as Blake Christian. But I do want to point out something interesting about this match in story. The commentators said that the people accepting this challenge are, or the people who can accept this challenge are newcomers or washed out veterans. Now, we haven't gotten a veteran yet accepting this challenge. Bless you. But I wonder if that's teasing anyone, any veteran that could be coming in for the title. Maybe Rey Mysterio.
Crazy.
or
silly man.
Or Ricochet. Ricochet would be cool.
I want him being that close to Casey. I feel like together their stupidity is too strong.
Well, I mean, Karrion Kross and Raquel Gonzalez fist bumped at the press conference, so they already got a ton of stupidity there.
Ugh. Between their two champions, there's like maybe half a brain cell, and not in the fun jock way.
Well, a little bit is rubbed off onto Raquel from Dakota.
Fingers crossed.
Cross?
Brain crossed.
TikTok? Miriam said maybe someone actually from 205 Live. Yeah, although I think this is kind of introducing these wrestlers into 205 Live. Like, after this point, they see what they're going for, and then they go to 205 Live.
Not get it.
Yeah. They teased August Gray going for it. Surprised he hasn't. Maybe next time.
Maybe.
Maybe next time Tyler Rust.
No, I don't like the way you say that with a little laugh at the end.
You see, although that I did see that somebody pointed out, Malcolm Bivens once called Tyler Rust a diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the rust.
Yeah, diamond in the rust. That's it. So maybe
Not lost on me.
Tyler Rust will be in Diamond Mine.
Hey, you know what? At this point, I know that it's gonna be a Raw Underground situation, but like, fine. If Tyler's there, fine.
Is it a Raw Underground situation or is it a faction?
I think so.
I hope it's a faction.
The way that it said open next week, that kind of gives me even more Raw Underground vibes.
Yeah, but I mean, they might just be saying that. I mean, they probably said something similar with like Hit Row.
I mean, to be fair, anyone's gonna do Raw Underground, may as well be NXT. Everything they touch turns to gold. So.
Not everything.
In comparison to the other colored items that happen to exist in the WWE.
Green. And
Yeah.
are you talking about 205 Live and whatever the fuck is green in WWE? 205 Live and main event? Can't believe you talk poorly about those two. You don't even watch either of them.
So I'm not here to shit on 205 Live.
You kind of already did.
I'm joking. Main event, however, I don't care for.
Oh.
Sorry, I just find it boring.
You don't find AEW Dark boring? Like the
No.
same thing.
No, because AEW Dark has Taz and Excalibur, so if I don't want to fucking pay attention to the match, I can just listen to them.
True.
I can listen to whatever the fuck they're giggling about.
Main event is just Byron and Kevin.
Kevin? Kevin. Yeah. No offense to Byron. Love the man.
Alright, so do you want to talk about the match?
Yeah, I guess. So Trey gets a single leg takedown onto Kushida. We start grappling for a little bit. Trey manages to roll Kushida up, kicks Kushida out, rolls him up again, dodges him with like this quick jump into like a little bridge, very Matrix-esque. And he hits a big elbow off the ropes onto Kushida. He walks the ropes, slings Kushida into the ropes, and then we get a boot from Kushida down onto Baxter's hand. And then this is the thing that you were talking about. Kushida, I don't know how to even explain this. He tries, he's at ringside, he tries dragging Baxter to the apron.
This was confusing all around. Trey Baxter looks like he failed something. Kushida looked like he also failed something. It was awkward just all around.
I mean, in Kushida's defense, I feel like it's gotta be hard. I mean, how can you have that much chemistry with wrestlers that, are brand spanking new? Fresh out of the box, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So for him to have done as well as he has with who was it? Yes, last week.
Cameron Clay. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. Um, yep, can't fault him that much. But then Baxter hits like this like twisting moonsault out of the ring. I don't know. He went out head first and ended up with his head closer to the ring than to the outside. So something flipped there. Some part of him did. It had to have. Um, Kyle comes out. Kyle's decided that he's gonna be part of the cruiserweight scene. Um,
Isn't he a cruiserweight?
yes. Don't look like he wouldn't be. Um, in that meantime, there's an inverted atomic drop to Baxter, and then the hip toss cartwheel drop kick. We get a handspring and Sagiri though to Kushida, which was really fucking cool.
He's 200.
5 pounds to go. Better be fucking careful.
Yeah.
Don't drink too much water on a given day.
Who is it that's... oh, Santos is like exactly 205.
Yeah. Then there's a big right hand to Trey and a Spanish fly to Kushida. Trey hits a 450 splash onto Kushida. Kushida kicks out, gets Trey up on the ropes, brings him down in a semi-hoverboard lock off the ropes, kicks him in the arm, and then locks that hoverboard lock in for real, and retains his title, as I would have only expected.
What if I just put out like a crazy prediction for the charging teaser?
Okay.
What if it's Chris Bay?
Sir!
I'm gonna put that out there. I'm gonna make the awful prediction. Just say it's Chris Bay.
I guess, can I ask why?
I don't know. He's tweeting weird things. He tweeted well, first of all, he tweeted about Trey Baxter in NXT. He also tweeted, "Never give up. Great things take time. I'm so motivated." Yeah. Is he a champion on NXT right now? No, he's not.
Bay?
Yeah.
Chris Bay's an Impact. Ring of Honor.
No, Impact. That's what I meant. Yeah, he's not champion. I don't know. But yeah, after that match we then had Kushida and Kyle O'Reilly in the ring together. Kyle said he wants to fight the best, and you want to fight the best. So are you ready? Kushida accepts. And then we go to an interview with Frankie Monet. She says everyone wants more Monet, and she's happy to say next week will be her encore performance. Monet then goes up to Jessica Mia and Aaliyah and tells them that she saw their match, but thinks that Robert Stone is holding them back. Stone then enters the room. Frankie tells him she was just telling them what a great job he's doing, and then walks off. Then we go to Mercedes Martinez. She's watching back her match from TakeOver when she was attacked by Mei Ying. She says she isn't backing down from anyone and challenges Boa to face the Steel again. Tells Mei Ying they're 1-1. She's ready for a rematch anytime. Zaya. So Zaya, they're 1-1, so she's ready for rematch anytime, and tells Mei Ying that next time she won't even be able to get out of her chair. And then after that, we get the coronation ceremony for LA Knight's $1 Million Championship. Ted DiBiase comes out to the ring. He says last Sunday he finally saw a superstar who can carry on his legacy. And then we go to a video package of LA Knight in the ladder match. LA Knight is shown driving up to the arena, walks in, smoking a cigar. Um, we got LA Knight. Teddy, let me talk. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. Let me talk to you, Ted. Not often in life you get to meet your heroes and then share the ring with them. I don't know how to describe the feeling I have right now. To be standing right here, all the bruises and bangs are all worth it. When I watched wrestling with my father, you were always on my screen. The kids in my neighborhood used to wrestle, and one was always Ted DiBiase. To say you were a fixture in my childhood was beyond an understatement. I want to express my appreciation and say thank you. This is the greatest moment in my wrestling career, dummy. It would be the honor of my life to crown me, for you to crown me the $1 million champion. Ted then takes the $1 million belt, puts it on LA Knight's shoulder, says, "Ladies and gentlemen, your $1 million champion." And LA Knight says, "Ted, just having this on my shoulder right now is beyond description." And then he looks to the crowd. He looks around at everyone booing him, everyone cheering Cameron Grimes. Says, he takes a long pause and says, "Now I've got everything I want. But now that I've got everything I want, it's time to stop what I don't need." And then he just socks Ted DiBiase right in the face, goes after security too. Says, "I am the only true $1 million champion, dummy. And that's just a fact of life." And he just continues stomping on Ted. Cameron Grimes then comes out and fights off LA Knight. Says, "You crossed the line. You're gonna pay." And then we go to an interview with Dakota and Raquel, where Raquel says, "Ember learned the hard way, but have you? Let Candice and Indy know we're coming after those titles. One isn't enough." Dakota says, "Tonight we take care of little Casey and little Kaden." We get another charging teaser. This time it's 10%. We go backstage before the next match and see Raquel and Dakota are having a shouting match between Shotzi and Ember. Then we get Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter.
So, notice something? As I'm like looking through all of these matches that I've got written out, I realize I don't give a fuck about 90% of them. I don't think that there's a single match tonight that like really like stole my heart in any way. Yet, in spite of that, I still enjoyed this episode so much.
Samoa Joe.
No, I feel like even without Joe, I was still like, I don't know. It's like
It was Frankie Monet.
exactly. I just think it's funny how NXT can give me nothing that I'm interested in, still leave me walking away like this was good.
Also because they don't throw in like 50 recaps. And when they do throw in recaps,
use your old thinker box for the memory.
Yeah, or they give you well-edited video packages.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of matches I just did not really care about, this one. Raquel and Dakota versus Kaden and Casey. I thought this match went on like a too long. But that's it. Dakota versus Kaden to start off. There's a lock on Dakota's arm and Casey gets in. We get a dropkick to Dakota from a freshly legal Kaden after Casey does very little of anything. Raquel gets in. She tosses Kaden, lifts her by her head. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. She just like lifted her up.
Yeah.
It's like, um, then Kaden, however, transitions into an octopus lock on Raquel. Raquel manages to break free. Kaden goes for the sunset flip, but can't get it. She gets Casey, and instead, Casey takes Raquel's legs out. Casey then gets on Raquel's shoulders, and Raquel twists her. Um, Casey, however, goes up and over. Um, get a tandem offense from Aiden and Casey into a head scissors on Raquel. Dakota got in. Casey sends Kai out with her legs and then dives out onto her. Kaden gets in. She dives out onto Kai and Raquel. Raquel and then Casey are both in together. This is after commercial break. Casey is being bent over Raquel's leg. She kicks Raquel in the head enough times to break free. Raquel, however, flips her onto her back instead. Gets Dakota in. Dakota does very little of anything. Raquel gets in, hits a sidewalk slam to Casey. Raquel does a drop elbow, but Casey rolls away. No one is home. Dakota gets in, and she has her head slammed into the apron. Casey wants the tag, kicks Dakota away in order to get it. Kaden gets in, starts destroying Dakota, drop kicks Raquel, hits another drop kick to Raquel, who is coming to interfere. This time, the drop kick sends Raquel into the corner. And then hits Raquel and then falls onto Dakota, which I thought was actually a really cool thing. Smart. It's like well choreographed, I guess. There's a kick to the jaw of Kai and then a boot across the face of Kai. Kai, however, fights back with a scorpion kick to Kaden, gets Raquel back in. There's a kick to the face of Raquel, and Kaden goes off the top rope right onto Raquel's shoulders. We then get a sidewalk slam to Carter. Carter goes over Raquel's shoulders, however. Dakota gets in. She brings Kaden down onto her knees. Casey breaks the cover, though. There's a boot to the face of Kai, and Casey kicks Raquel's legs out from under her. Kai then pulls Kaden backwards. Get a boot to the face of Kai. Kaden, I guess, was legal at this point. I did not make that note. But Kai pulls Kaden down backwards. There's a boot to the face of Kai. Casey gets back in. Hit like this tag team offense where it's like a wheelbarrow. Casey goes up and over Kaden's shoulder down onto Dakota. Raquel interferes on the cover. Casey kicks her out to ringside. We get a boot to the face of Raquel and a really bad head scissors to Raquel. Then, I guess, Kaden hits like a scorpion kick onto Kai. Casey gets in, hits the 450 splash, but Raquel breaks up the cover again. He pulls Casey from the ring, slams Kaden into the barricade. Casey then goes back up top, gets kicked in the face by Kai, and we get a GTK to Casey to win. But it very much smells a lot like Raquel had to do a lot of the work in the match tonight.
Yeah, especially at the end there. But can we just talk about how incredible of a performance Casey and Kaden put on? It was amazing. When Kaden laid out that kick, I think it was to Raquel, like without even looking. She just did that blind hook kick to Raquel as she was charging her.
Yeah. I mean, Casey and Kaden almost always put on a at least entertaining show. It's not always perfect, but it's at least entertaining.
This one was like a step up, though.
Only thing I hated was Casey hit, I don't know what it was. Casey hit like a really, oh yeah, there was a really, really, really bad head scissors to Raquel. I don't know if that's Raquel's fault. I don't know if that was Casey's fault. I couldn't tell in the moment, but it was bad.
Looked away for that.
It was also like 5 seconds.
But after that match, we had Everrise. They talk about how Hit Row are. He says these Hit Row are a bunch of tough guys. Apparently they destroyed their set on Sunday for the pre-show. They said, or I think Matt Martell said, "No, sir, we rebuild our set from the takeover pre-show." that's really it. Although I think they're getting a match against Hit Row next week. Cool. Can't wait for Hit Row to win.
I'm excited. Chase Parker's gonna get his ass kicked in.
Yeah. Then we get Io Shirai in the ring before our main event. She said, "I'm back. I feel good. And my next target is..." And then Candice LeRae comes out. She said, "Io, so much has changed since you've been gone. I'm no longer an uncrowned champion. Since you are no longer the unbeatable champion, it's back to the bottom for you. You have to earn your opportunities now. And also, I still can't stand you. Unfortunately for you, you picked the wrong time to screw with me." Indy then comes out of nowhere and attacks Io. Io starts defending herself, then gives a 619 to Indy. Indy then steps down from the ring. Candice gets control of Io. Indy clears off the table, and Candice puts Indy on top of it, or puts Io on top of it, not Indy. She tells Indy to go for an elbow drop. Indy goes up to the top turnbuckle, but then she's attacked by Zoe Stark. And they're both chased out of the CWC. We then go to... We were supposed to go to an interview with Samoa Joe and William Regal. This was really weird. Mackenzie asked them about tonight's episode and course of events. William Regal just turns around and says, "Mackenzie," and then we fade to black. We go to Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. They're walking past MSK on their way to their match. Thatcher grabs Nash Carter's popcorn and just starts eating it. Then we get a Diamond Mine vignette. It says next week. Opens next week. And then we get another Samoa Joe and William Regal interview. I think this is one we're supposed to get before. But before they can really answer anything, Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory walk in chanting, "Joe, Joe, Joe, Joe." Regal says to Johnny, "Do you always just barge in without knocking?" And Johnny says, "Austin, knock on the door for me." And he just knocks on the door. Johnny says, "Thank you for being here, Joe. You are exactly what this place needs. And now with Joe here, so good." Reeg says, "Johnny, do me a favor. Get out." Oh no, Joe says that to Johnny. Johnny says, "Okay, good talk, good talk." Then Pete Dunne walks in, and he just has a stare down with Samoa Joe. I think they're teasing some possible matchups for Joe right now when he's cleared to fight. And all of them are perfect. Every single one of them.
I just love the way that like it was like just Pete and Joe.
And now there's an actual reason for Finn Balor to stay in NXT. Samoa Joe, one last match. Yep.
He's sad.
Yeah. And then we move on to our main event. Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher versus grizzled young veterans, soon to be recognized as NXT Tag Team Champions. You're frozen on my screen.
Am I?
I can hear you, but you're frozen with your eyes closed. Okay, you're back.
I'm frozen on my screen for once. What the fuck?
So,
I have to talk about this?
yeah. It was a good match. It was a really good match.
It was, but I hate Tornado Tag. It's very hard for me to keep up with anything.
You put yourself in this mess by starting a podcast.
I'm only half responsible for that.
You put yourself in this mess by taking the matches.
Anyways. Hiccup. So, Tommaso's fighting Gibson. Tim is fighting James Drake with his face on his ass. The boys toss GYV into each other. And like they kind of do that like little like duo like pounding time thing where they beat on the guy's chest. And then they switch men. And then they both get like these arm bars locked in. And then Drake and Gibson take over. They toss him from the ring and they turn on Tommy. There's some chops to GYV from Ciampa and then a flying double clothesline to the grizzled young veterans. Champ starts splashing the men in the corner. James Drake drops Ciampa and Gibson kicks him in the old head. We go off Gibson's back and onto Tim, sending him back to ringside because Tim was just trying to climb in and he didn't get that. Then I believe James Drake does this. James Drake, we'll just say, smacks Tim into the barricade. Tim is then thrown back into the ring. Also stops Grizzly Young Vets from attacking Tim for just a moment. And then Tim goes to choking Gibson out. Drake kicks at him, and there's a chop block that takes Tim down. Ciampa gets sent into the barricade, and then we get a team offense onto Tim with a duo neck breaker. Trying to ditch my eye. Ciampa takes Drake out of the equation. Clotheslines Gibson over and over and over and over and over. Drake gets in the ring, and we get a running knee from Tommaso to Gibson as he climbs back in. Drake is then thrown into the timekeeper's area, and Gibson is thrown onto him. Ciampa then splashes both of them. Tim uppercuts James, and Tommaso uppercuts Gibson. Like they're like doing this like little like back and forth thing. It's kind of cute, I guess. That's the sort of thing you're into. Fletcher starts just like going between both Drake and Gibson, punching them. And then he does the thing I think Bliss did yesterday. I can't be sure. I know that we saw this like 40 fucking times. I knew the name for the submission hold, but it's where like you're holding somebody back and you get your leg up over where like their arm is.
Can't imagine it right now.
I can show you on the cat. She's
No.
right here.
No.
She can show you it on me if you want.
That's better.
Make you feel better.
That's better.
It's like think like you're pulling somebody's arm back and you get your leg up over their shoulder, their opposite shoulder. There's a name for it. It escaped me today. Everything comes through to save Tim. There's a boot to the face of Tim from Ciampa. I said, do dreams come true? And Triple H said, no, they don't actually. The match just continues. UIV then clunked Tommaso enough to get set up for the Doomsday device. Tommaso fights free. He hits a double underhook suplex, or Tim hits a double underhook suplex to Gibson. We get an air raid crash from Tommaso to James Drake and a cover while Tim holds Gibson back. James Drake kicks out of the cover. We get some chops from Tommaso to James Drake on the apron. He lifts Drake onto his shoulders, but it is short-lived. We get the Doomsday device to Ciampa on the ringside area, and it looks like Ciampa dies for a full fucking second. At first look, it looked like he basically landed on his fucking head. I don't think he did. It looked like it. The moment. And we have Tim versus Gibson. They're exchanging blows. The backslide that Tim wants. but or Gibson wanted on Tim or something like that. Tim, however, goes for the ankle lock or the single leg crab. He can't get that. Uh, Gibson fails to get the Shankly Gates submission on Tim, which, by the way, in case you're wondering, the Shankly Gates are actually a very famous set of gates in front of Liverpool's Anfield Stadium. I had to. Very smart.
You're doing a great job.
I know. There's a failed chin lock, from Tim to Gibson. Get a flying knee from James Drake to Tim, and then an elevated backstabber to Tim. Tommaso breaks the cover. Then GYV fight Tommaso ringside. Tommaso gets launched into the visor for the announce desk. Tim can't reach out to help Tommaso. James Drake adds insult to injury by punching Tim, while Gibson sets up for a powerbomb into the announce desk, but Ciampa actually ends up lifting and dropping Gibson instead. James Drake is then yelling at Tommaso. Tim is stalking him from behind. We get a fairy tale ending and a double submission for Timothy and Tommaso to win.
What's up? What are you looking for?
Cat was here. Now she's gone. She was still here.
Well, right after that match, we have an interview. This was probably supposed to be what that weird thing was. But we get an interview with William Reeves and Samoa Joe. And Mackenzie asks, so now that it's been the first night with Samoa Joe, how do you feel? And Willie Reeves just says, it was only night one of many, many great nights. Something like that. And then they ride off into the sunset together. And that's NXT.
Yeehaw. What a fun time we had.
And now that we are moving into the best of the night, if you have a question for our Q&A segment, please leave it in the in the chat so that we can answer it by the time we get to the Q&A. The Raw sticker's still on there. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a question in the comments. We'll answer it in the next episode, next podcast. All right, so do you know what your pick for promo of the night is? Without even going through it?
Yeah, I think so.
I know mine too. And that promo of the night is Samoa Joe coming back.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
It was perfect. Even though we all knew that Samoa Joe was coming back based on rumors and everything, it still got a huge pop. It was amazing hearing that music again. And
we also didn't know if Regal was actually leaving or not.
True. And then we also
I knew.
We also got to see him talk with Karrion Kross, which is a cool interaction. And seeing Joe in this new position it's wonderful. It is wonderful. This whole promo was beautifully done. It was a roller coaster all around. Amazing. Now, Wrestler of the Night. This one I do need to go through because I don't even know what I'm going to pick. So we started off with Imperium versus Breezango. Go with Marcel Bartel for this one. He was good. Got a lot of fun offense. I don't. Imperium just doesn't really. They don't stand out to me, in terms of wrestling. Because their whole gimmick is being pure wrestling, that it's like they're kind of nothing but that unless they're in promos. After that we had Kushida versus what was the name? Trey Baxter. I'll go with Kushida.
Eddie Murphy mixed with Pete Dunne.
Yeah. I thought Buddy Murphy versus Buddy Murphy mixed with James Drake.
Oh yeah, I can also see that.
Yeah, I'm going with Kushida. He looked good. I mean, he looked like a fucking champion. Plus Baxter botched a little bit more so than Kushida did. So he's got a ways to go, and hopefully being in 205 Live will help him out. Also, I haven't seen any of his stuff in Impact, so. Then we had Raquel and Dakota versus, you know, their tag team name is the Ninjas. Not Raquel and Dakota. I'm talking about Casey and Kaden.
I figured as much. Oh, okay.
That's what my sister used to call herself when she was a teenager and really into Taekwondo.
Yeah, same vibe though.
Yeah. Except these two are in their 20s,
Yeah,
30s.
I think.
I feel like 20s.
See, Cantanzaro.
Oh, Miriam
30s.
also said because of American Ninja Warrior since Casey competed on it, maybe. That's an excuse.
Can't stand her. Face wasn't at you, Miriam. I promise. It was that stupid Casey Covidzaro.
They're probably half of the roster in wrestling all around is anti-mask, so.
So as everyone knows, I think Karrion Kross doesn't want to get vaccinated. Wrestle Talk had an article that was like, some people on the roster aren't like, wanting to get vaccinated, and I read it, and like a lot of the things were like, oh well, they didn't know how it was going to affect their bodies. They didn't want to be sick. They were avoiding getting vaccinated. They saw that, you know, a lot of like the side effects and symptoms have been pretty mild for a lot of the people that were on the roster that got it. And then the last line, more or less, was like this snarky little line that was like, there's one member of the NXT roster that refuses to be vaccinated because they don't believe in the vaccine. It was like,
if it's one member, that doesn't make sense. Because him and Scarlett would be two.
Scarlett really on the roster, though?
Yeah. I'd say Raquel. I'd say Raquel's the one.
I don't know. Karrion's been super anti-vax. Start asking around.
Yeah. Ask your insider source in NXT. But with the Ninjas versus Raquel and Dakota, I gotta go with Casey. Casey looked fucking unbelievable. Raquel looked fantastic as well. Dakota, love Dakota. Dakota got the pin. She hasn't gotten pinned in 21 days. New record.
That's actually really impressive.
It's only 3 weeks, but still. It's amazing that she got the win. But Casey was fucking fantastic in this match. I mean, she's always got a super unique moveset. Her and Kaden always have great tandem offense. Casey is always she pulls some weird shit out of her bag every match she's in, and this match was no different. So I gotta go with her for this match. And then we had Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher versus grizzled young veterans. I'm gonna say this, but I know you won't agree. I'm gonna go with Tommaso Ciampa in this match. Ciampa looked fucking mean. He looked in charge. He looked like he was leading him and Thatcher. And the amount he put his body through in this match was one thing. But like fucking the air raid crashes, how insane he felt in the match. He was definitely in charge of this whole thing. Like he looked powerful. throughout the whole match. And I wish we'd seen this Ciampa before. We saw him a couple times. I think we saw him against Walter. And against Thatcher, but that might have been it from what I can remember. As far as the wrestler of the night for the entire night, I don't know. It's definitely not Kushida. I know that for sure. I'm not going to say Marcel Bartel. I'm not going to trick myself, and I'm not going to lie to myself.
Okay.
Between Casey and Tommaso. I know.
What a fucking crew to be choosing between, honestly.
I was about to say, like, you probably hate this.
Yeah, you've really chosen my least favorite people.
They're your least favorite.
Two of my least favorite people.
I was gonna say, there's much worse on the roster. We'll go with Casey. Casey, some of the stuff that Casey did in this match, I've never seen before.
Tonight's gonna be the night that you actually remember to do the tweets, and then she's probably gonna like it because I've said enough shit about her on this podcast. So.
But now that you brought it up, she probably won't.
I know.
Oh, wow, I see how it is. Curious who you think. Anything?
What's your vibe though on Fabian Eichner?
No, Fabian barely did anything.
Fabian did everything. He nearly took Breeze's head off with a lariat.
That was one lariat.
Yeah, but he also like broke Fandango down for a while.
Liz, I don't think he was better than Kushida. I don't think he was the best one in that match, first of all.
Fine, then I'll go with Marcel Bartel.
Well, we're gonna be in disagreement then. I'm sticking with Casey. If you went with Tommaso, I would go with Tommaso.
I wouldn't have done that. I didn't like Tommaso that much in the match.
All right.
Not even. There's something about him recently, especially, and it's not just because I don't like him. I didn't like him earlier on in this, but recently there's something about him where it's just like I don't know if it's because I don't like his chemistry with Tim or what. I don't like watching Tommaso wrestle. Just his style has not been like my tea lately.
Okay. Now, why not Casey?
Casey didn't impress me. Casey did the same shit that she always does.
All right. I very much disagree, but we'll leave it up to the chat. So, who do you guys think is the wrestler of the night between Casey Catanzaro and who'd you pick? Marcel Bartel?
I'll pick Bartel.
Okay. Between those two, cast your vote for the wrestler of the night. And
impartial, because I know I won't be.
Yeah, that's the problem. So yeah. We'll move on to match of the night for now, and then we'll see what votes we get prior. Or after that. So match of the night. Oh, we had Imperium versus Breezango to start off. It was fun. Just a fun match. A match that if you told me this match was happening, I'd be like, okay, whatever. But it was fun. It was nice. Really all there is to it. It's nothing more that can be said, nothing less. After that, we had Kushida versus Trey Baxter. As much as I love watching Kushida wrestle, I feel like these guys had no chemistry.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. It was like all over the place. But Kushida was good. That's really it. Then we had the Ninjas versus Raquel and Dakota. I mean, any match where Dakota gets the pin, I'm down for. I had a lot of fun with this match, not just for Dakota getting the pin and not getting pinned. Casey and Kaden are so much fun to watch, and Raquel going fucking monster this match was another thing. The way she laid out both Casey and Kaden was unbelievable. She's really showing off how much of a dominant champion she can be. And I'm surprised we didn't get any interference in this match from Shotzi and Ember. But maybe that's just Samoa Joe at work. Maybe he gave a coquina clutch to Shotzi.
It was funny because he was definitely standing back there, like watching these like ladies like kind of like scream at each other. And he was like,
he's like, make the wrong move, I dare you.
Like listen.
Oh, Shotzi!
Coquina clutch has no gender.
Yeah.
Joe's just standing there. He's like, I know, like, realistically, I should not. Also, my character probably would.
I just want to see like AJ Styles make an appearance at NXT and then Joe's mouth just starts watering.
See my hair. I would like there to be just like some acknowledgement of Joe being back when it comes to AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Just want like a little crumb of acknowledgement.
Like he just gets the chills. Also, Miriam said, honestly, what about Ted DiBiase for Wrestler of the Night? Man took a huge bump, made me worry for his life.
Ted hit the floor.
Are we
Ted
sure?
acted like Eli or
LA Knight.
Him acted like LA Knight fucking shot him out of a goddamn cannon.
Are we sure that wasn't a stunt double though?
Stunt Ted.
Stunted.
Stunted. Maybe it was Ted DiBiase Jr., but in Ted DiBiase makeup.
Yeah. Also, I want to go back to the ninjas and Raquel and Dakota match real quick. That flying head scissors that you mentioned, was that out of the ring?
Yes.
Okay, so I did notice that. I just remembered it. I don't think that was supposed to be a flying head scissors because the way Raquel sold it, it looked like it was supposed to be like a stunner, but with her legs.
Whatever it was, and I don't think it was Casey's fault. Raquel sold it horribly.
Yeah, she sold it like you would a stunner.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that was Casey's fault at all. I think Raquel's taking this unbeatable champion gimmick to a little too far. But yeah, I fucking love this match. It was a ton of fun. A lot of stuff that we hadn't seen before. Some great tandem offense and some great character work from Raquel, even with that horrible sell. Then we had Tommaso and Timmy versus GYV. This was really fun. But I wasn't so impressed with it. It was just fun. Chaotic and fun. Love a nice brutal match. The air raid crash. Both air raid crashes were great. That's really all. It didn't feel like there was much character work put in. It didn't feel like there was a lot of storyline getting across with this match. It just felt like brutal match. That's it. So, my pick for match of the night is Raquel and Dakota versus the Ninjas.
man. Don't. It's hard for me because, like I said, none of these matches really struck a chord with me.
Mm-hmm.
Imperium and Breezango did because maybe it's just because it was the first match. Don't give me that look. That's not what I'm going with. There we go. The gentle shift into actually listening to me. Um, I guess I'll go with you. I just didn't really like a lot of these matches.
I mean, no matches were really breathtaking today because it was a post takeover. But I think if there's any match that really got across any story, moved any barriers, it was Raquel and Dakota and Casey and Kaden.
Fine, I'll
So
give you that.
That's our match of the night. Now we're still tied with Casey and Marcel. I want you to be honest with yourself. I want you to be honest with yourself here.
Being honest with myself.
Are you?
Take the notes. I can look back.
Mm-hmm. I believe you when you say you have a lot of notes on Marcel Bartel.
You do understand. May I remind you for the 900th time, you do understand that I'm not purely driven by thirst.
That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that you're a wee bit biased.
Why would I be biased, Marcus? Why would I be biased?
Against Casey. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think she's hot too.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you're biased against Casey because she's anti-mask.
To be fair, first of all, I'd be biased against Casey because she's a goddamn fool. Not it. I know what Casey Canzaro wrestles like. I know when she's impressive. She's always impressive. She's a really acrobatic creature of a person, I guess.
You say Zoe?
That's what we're gonna call her. Huh?
You say Zoe?
Oh.
Not like you said Zoe, I don't know.
No, I said she's a very acrobatic creature of a person.
Hmm.
But because of the fact that she's always very nimble, I guess, I'm never shocked by what she does.
Also, Miriam said Marcel Bartel is the same kind of fool as Casey if we think back to early pandemic.
Not think back to early pandemic?
Wow.
No, to be totally fair, Marcel Bartel and Casey Catanzaro have about the same amount of brain cells. Let's be real.
Can I throw out a compromise here?
It's not going to be Tommaso.
Okay, can I throw out another compromise?
Okay.
Dakota. Or Raquel. One of those two.
Go with Dakota.
Why Dakota over Raquel? That makes no sense to me.
Because Raquel is really bad at selling.
Okay. All right, so Dakota Kai it is. All right. Well, there we have it. To run it back, our promo of the night is Samoa Joe returns. Wrestler of the night, Dakota Kai. Match of the night, the Ninjas versus Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Now we have Q&A. If you have a question for us, leave it in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, leave it in the comments. We can get to it in the next podcast. All right, so we have a question from Miriam. She says, "Do you think Boa will ever wrestle again, or is he just gonna hold Zaya's hats for the remainder of this gimmick?" I think he's gonna fight Mercedes. I think that's what she was implying in the promo.
Um,
That's when she said he's gonna get the steal.
I don't see Boa wrestling anytime soon.
You see, I disagree. I think he's gonna be a better Reginald.
I'm happy to be like what is it? Pleasantly surprised. I love that. I don't see it happening unless it happens in like a Mercedes and some guy versus Boa and Zaya.
I mean, maybe might happen.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know if Boa's in a place to be wrestling anytime soon again. And I thought he was when he returned.
It'll be Boa and Zaya versus Mercedes and Slapjack.
Please be nice.
Oh, fuck. Alright.
If it gets Shane Thorne some airtime, fine.
We have another question on YouTube. From the wrestling you've seen, what's the best story ever told in pro wrestling?
Jesus Christ.
Ooh. This is tough. This is very tough. Trying to think back to some like earlier stuff that I've seen.
I mean, I think I know I would choose. I would probably go with the entire Wyatt family storyline. I mean, that was beautifully fucking crafted.
Even to the point of Fiend versus Randy most recently.
No. Sorry. The Wyatt family.
Mm-hmm.
Fiend. Rather, the whole Wyatt family storyline. I thought that was a really well done. I mean, I remember when I first saw the Wyatt family and I was like, frightened. Like, there I am, just like, it was one of the first times I had watched when I was in college, and I remember seeing like promo for them. I was like, that's fucking ooky as shit. No, I don't want to fucking see that.
Yeah. My mind goes to the Shield, but at the same time, the Shield were incredibly protected to the point where it was frustrating. But then there's AJ Styles and Samoa Joe's feud, which is one of my personal favorites because they really went above and beyond with that feud. The way that Samoa Joe went after Wendy, and but then the ending was a bit weird when it was like all those low blows to each other. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of AJ and Shinsuke. That was a weird match. But Samoa Joe and AJ Styles they had a fantastic feud. Is it the best? I'd probably say no. Oh God. We haven't watched like the early like NWO or like Attitude Era stuff. Stuff that we should see.
I mean, the early Raw that I've seen, there weren't very many like intense storylines. Storylines that were compelling, I guess.
The story of the Undisputed Era is a really good one.
Yeah,
It all came full circle involving Pete Dunne indirectly breaking up Undisputed Era, sending Bobby out, and then the downfall happened. And then we're still in that story, kinda, but I think it's very well done. Um,
Um,
hmm,
I was just gonna say, I think the only reason that like I don't know, I feel like for me, at least with the Wyatt family, like that was what got me into wrestling for real. Like
yeah,
that's what kept me coming back, I think.
understandable. Trying to think of other storylines, like other promotions. Hmm.
I think this common theme of Young Bucks being changed people is a really good one.
One of my favorites is Cody and Brody Lee. When Brody was introduced to AEW and absolutely just laid out Cody. That was a beautiful storyline. Um, Notice two of our picks included Brody.
Yeah, and of course, they're matches that I literally probably could never watch again
Mm,
because I just sit there crying.
yeah. Yeah. There's also honorable mentions like Kofi Mania.
Ooh, that was a really good story told.
Mhm. Um, Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar, which should have ended with Joe getting the Universal title. Seth being like with the ultimate heist. Um, oh, that's a big moment. I don't know if that's a great story. I don't know. This is a very tough question. I also want to think back to Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Literally the best part of that whole championship reign, in my opinion. The way that
Randy and Edge would have been a great story.
it would have been a great story. What we had would have been fantastic had the WrestleMania match not been fucking awful. The Falls Count Anywhere match from last year.
I think I willfully forgot that,
Hmm.
actually.
Okay.
Mark and I watched that for my birthday. I said, we're gonna watch Royal Rumble and then we're gonna watch WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. I think it was like 3 a.m. And we were plastered.
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought I was more drunk than I was because I was like, this match could not have possibly been going on this long. The match really did go on that long.
Hmm. But then there's also the classic feud of the breakdown of Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold's tag team.
Shawn Michaels is a good contender for a lot of storylines, honestly. He was so good in the ring, and partially because he was a mess, but
Yeah. I also want to throw out the Nexus.
Jesus.
I watched their introduction into the main roster, and they basically did what Retribution was supposed to. Like they came out to the ring after Wade Barrett had a match with John Cena. They completely laid out John Cena, fucking like murdered his ass, like removed the canvas from the ring, removed the foam from the floor, like knocked everything over, threw everything around, tormented all of the sideline people, um, dragged out the commentators, everything that Retribution wished they'd done, and then they buried John Cena by I think Heath Slater suplexed him onto the wood of the ring.
Wow.
Yeah. It was definitely it was very seeing Retribution is very reminiscent of that. But as for the best storyline in pro wrestling, I don't know if I have a solid answer. . There's storylines that I find most compelling. Like, oh God, I'm already forgetting. Dolph and Drew, Joe and AJ. The Way, even the Way becoming like a family and everything that they've been on together. And then Brody and the Dark Order.
I would like to say that my favorite piece of storytelling is bringing Single Boy into the Dark Order.
That's Griff Garrison. Who the fuck is Griff Garrison? Actually, now that I think about it, I think Roman Reigns right now might be the best storyline in pro wrestling.
Yeah, actually, that's something that we overlooked. Especially the storyline of Roman getting Jay onto his side. That was a fucking soap opera.
Yeah. And
I nearly cried at that Hell in a Cell match.
And how Roman basically finished Daniel Bryan's career in WWE. We haven't seen Edge since. Fantastic WrestleMania match. Yeah, I don't know if they have a name, like the Bloodline or the Anoa'i family or something, but fucking Roman has been
Head of the table storyline. How's that?
Yeah, the head of the table storyline has been one of the best that I've seen.
Okay, that's fair. Take it.
All right, so that ends the Q&A. Liz, would you like to close out this NXT post show?
You joined us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We love when you join us. And if you join us in the future, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Love when you join us. Speaking of the head of the table storyline, that doesn't end. We have SmackDown to look forward to, their go home show before Hyak. Please join us this Friday. We will be back with a brand spanking new episode. It's going to be fun. Actually, it's probably not because I'm going to have to drive the next morning, but it'll be fun while you're here.
And then we'll be doing predictions for Hell in a Cell on Friday,
We'll be doing Hyak predictions. I refuse to refer to it by its full name. Yeah, please join us. It'll be a rip-roaring good time. And Pepita will be here.
Speaking of Pepita, subscribe to our YouTube, The Pinfall Podcast, because the new episode of Pepita Predicts will be going up for Hell in a Cell. Yes, you forgot. Our Twitter is at Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Alien23. And consider subscribing to the Twitch. Get all of our emotes. You can watch our episodes the night they're done. You don't have to wait for them to go on YouTube. And that's it. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown and Hell in a Cell predictions.